If you have ever walked into a room and realized that the life you were fighting to protect was already being dismantled behind your back, then you already understand what this story is really about. Because sometimes betrayal does not arrive screaming. Sometimes it laughs on your couch, pours itself a glass of wine, and talks about you as if you are already gone. I did not slam the door that night. I did not raise my voice. I did not throw anything. I simply walked into my own home and heard my wife calmly explaining to her friends that I was no longer at her level, that she was just waiting it out, that I had maybe a year left. And in that exact moment, something inside me snapped into clarity. Not rage, not panic. Clarity. I had just finished covering another shift at the distribution center, the kind of work that drains you in a way sleep cannot fix. Steel-toe boots, bright lights, constant movement, constant noise, and you are the person who has to keep everything from falling apart when someone calls out or a shipment goes sideways. My badge felt heavier than it should have, my shoulders ached, and all I wanted was a shower and silence. When I pulled into the driveway, the lights were on. That was unusual. Then I heard voices, women laughing. That made my stomach tighten. I unlocked the door quietly, not sneaking, just too tired to announce myself. And then I heard her voice, clear as day, cutting through the noise. I honestly give this thing maybe another year. They laughed like it was the funniest thing anyone had said all week. He is just not at my level anymore. Time slowed down. I stood there in the entryway while my wife sat on our couch like she owned the room, surrounded by 4 of her girlfriends, wine bottles everywhere, glasses on the table, her posture relaxed like she had nothing to fear. Like she was already practicing life without me and enjoying the rehearsal. One of her friends said she had been way too patient. Another said she deserved more. My wife nodded like she was receiving a compliment. She looked proud. She looked entertained, and the part that hit me hardest was how normal she seemed while saying it, as if she had repeated that thought so many times it no longer felt cruel. My heart was racing, but my mind was quiet. It was like something in me stopped trying to interpret or excuse or explain. I had spent months telling myself she was stressed, that work was getting to her, that marriage goes through seasons, but no season includes publicly disrespecting the person who pays the bills, carries the weight, and still tries to come home with love. I stepped into the living room. All 5 of them turned toward me. The laughter died instantly. The air changed. My wife's face drained of color like she had just been caught committing a crime. "Hey," I said, keeping my voice steady. "Fascinating discussion." She tried to smile, tried to act normal. She said something about me being home early. I told her my shift ended early. Lucky me. Almost missed the entertainment. Then I looked straight at her. "So we have a year left." Silence. Her friends stared at their drinks. My wife opened her mouth, then closed. Italiano. She tried again, but the words would not come out in a clean lie. She scrambled for an excuse, said it was just venting. Girl talk. That she did not mean it like that. I asked one question.com enough to scare even me. Why wait a year? Her eyes widened. Her friends looked down. My wife's lips parted, but nothing came out. "Let us end it now," I said. That is when the fear showed itself. Not fear of losing me. Fear of losing control. She called me ridiculous. Dramatic. Said I was throwing away 5 years over one comment. But it was not the comment. It was the truth behind it. And for the first time, I could see she had been living in that truth for a while. I was the last one to find out. I looked at her friends. Not at her level. That is venting. Nobody answered. Nobody defended her. Nobody even looked at me. I turned and walked upstairs. She followed me up the stairs, her shoes clicking fast, words pouring out like she could overwhelm the moment with noise. She said I was overreacting. She said I was tired. She said she loved me. She said anything that might put the old version of me back in my place, the version that would swallow disrespect and call it compromise. I did not argue. I went to the closet and pulled out my gym bag. Work clothes first. Underwear, socks, charger, toiletries, bays. The kind of packing you do when you are not trying to make a point, just trying to survive. "This is insane," she said from the doorway. "You are throwing away 5 years over one comment." I zipped the bag and looked at her. "You think this is about one comment?" Her eyes shimmered with tears, but they looked practiced, like she was searching for the right expression, the way someone searches for the right filter before posting a photo. I walked past her, down the stairs. Her friends were already grabbing their purses, slipping away like they did not want to be part of the fallout. Wine glasses sat abandoned on the table. The room looked like a party that ended too fast. I grabbed my keys. "Where are you going?" she called from upstairs. "Do is it matter? Of course it matters. This is your home." I looked up at her. "No. This is a house where my wife thinks I am beneath her. Not the same thing." Then I walked out. I sat in my truck, hands on the wheel, breathing. My chest felt tight. The anger was there, but underneath it was something heavier. The realization that I had been trying to earn respect from someone who already decided I was not worth it. And that kind of realization does something to you. It stops the begging. It stops the negotiating. It stops the hope that the right words will fix it. I drove to the nearest motel off the interstate. Cheap, smelled like old carpet and cleaning solution, but it had a bed and a lock, which was all I needed. My phone started buzzing the moment I sat down. "We need to talk. Please come home. You are being childish." "I am sorry." "Okay, I am sorry." I turned it face down and stared at the wall. I did not respond because I could already feel how the conversation would go. She would cry. She would minimize. She would promise change. Then, later, she would resent me for making her apologize, and the cycle would repeat until I accepted being disrespected as normal. That night, I finally admitted the truth. My marriage was over. Not because I left, but because she had already emotionally walked away and was just waiting for the cleanest exit. I slept poorly, but I slept with one thing I had not felt in a long time. Relief. I woke up early to my phone vibrating like it wanted to break itself. Dozens of missed calls, messages swinging between anger and desperation. One message at dawn just said, "Please." I poured the motel's bitter coffee into a foam cup and stared at the wall again. The sun was rising outside, and it felt wrong that the world looked normal while my life was collapsing. Then my phone buzzed with a different name. "Monica." My wife is a best friend. The tall blonde who had been on the couch the night before, laughing the loudest at first, until I walked in and the laughter died. I stared at the screen. Part of me wanted to ignore it, but something told me this mattered. I answered. Her voice was quiet, nervous. "Thank you for picking up. I did not know if you would." "Make it quick," I said. "I have work soon." She took a breath like she had been holding it for hours. "What you heard last night was not just venting." That made my stomach drop. "She has been planning this," Monica said. "The divorce. She has been planning it for months." My grip tightened around the coffee cup. "Planning what? She has a lawyer." "She has had one for a while. Since early in the year, she has been building a case. She wanted you to be the one to leave first." I stood up slowly, walking toward the window. "Why would she want that?" "So she can claim abandonment, make you look like the bad guy. Her lawyer told her it would help with the division. I felt gold." "She has been documenting arguments," Monica continued, "writing things down, twisting team, acting like you are neglectful, like you are cold, like you refuse to work on the marriage." I pressed my forehead to the glass. "Why are you telling me this? You are her best friend." "Because last night was wrong," Monica said, and her voice grew stronger. "And because I do not want to be part of what she is doing. She humiliated you. She laughed about it, and you did not deserve that." I said nothing. My jaw tightened. "I am recording this call," Monica added. "I want you to have it. Use it if you need to. Protect yourself. The words "protect yourself" echoed in my mind, because that was exactly what I had not been doing. I had been protecting the marriage, protecting the peace, protecting her image, and she had been protecting her exit strategy. When we ended the call, I sat back down. The coffee tasted like metal in my mouth. My wife had not just insulted me, she had been setting me up. That is when my emotions shifted. I stopped grieving and started thinking. If you are still listening right now, stay with me, because this is where the story changes from heartbreak to strategy. And if you have ever been blindsided by someone you trusted, you will want to hear what I did next. I opened a new email account and forwarded Monica's recording to it. I saved it in multiple places. I took screenshots of every message my wife had sent. I documented the time I left, the motel receipt, everything. Then I made one call. A family law attorney. The receptionist offered an appointment that afternoon. I took it without hesitation, because if she was playing a game, then I needed to finally learn the rules. The lawyer's office was on the 3rd floor of an old building downtown. Nothing fancy. Worn carpet, fluorescent lighting. But the man who walked into the conference room had the posture of someone who has seen every version of betrayal dressed up as innocence. He introduced himself, shook my hand, and asked me to tell him what happened. So I did. Everything. The words I overheard. The humiliation. The fact that I left. Monica's call. The lawyer my wife had already hired. The plan to make me look like the bad guy. When I played Monica's recording, the attorney's face remained neutral, but I saw his eyes sharpen with interest. "That changes things," he said. "Is it legal?" I asked. "This state allows one-party consent recordings," he said. "If the person recording is aware, it is legal. She told you she recorded. She gave permission to use it. It will matter." Then he asked about assets. The rental, the vehicles, bank accounts, savings, retirement, debts. Credit cards will pays. What? Who earns what? Who spends what? I answered honestly. I had been paying most of the bills, covering rent, utilities, groceries. She worked part-time. She spent freely. And I had been helping pay down debt in her name because she convinced me that marriage meant carrying it together. The attorney did not judge me. He simply wrote it down. "From this moment forward," he said, "document everything. Every message, every interaction, every purchase, every withdrawal, screenshots, emails, paper trail." Then he said the sentence that mattered most. "Do not abandon the marital residence." I told him I was at a motel. He said, "Temporary is fine, but do not stay away too long. Establish that you have not given up your legal rights." We set a planned petition, filing Ceres timing. He told me the truth that no one wants to hear when they are heartbroken. The longer you wait, the more time she has to reshape the story. So I moved quickly. I withdrew money needed for the retainer, documented it, and moved remaining funds into a separate account in my name, legally, with clear documentation. I bought a notebook and started writing everything I could remember from the past months. Dates, arguments, spending, patterns. Not for revenge, for protection. I warned my supervisor at work in case she tried to create drama at my job. I kept working because work became the one place where reality did not shift based on someone else's emotions. Then, after I filed, my phone lit up again. But this time, it was not her. It was one of her friends. Another witness. She told me my wife had been calling them, trying to get them to lie, trying to build a narrative that I was controlling, distant, aggressive. And the friend refused. Now it was not just Monica, it was a pattern. My wife was not just ending a marriage, she was trying to win it. And that is when I understood something deeply. This was never about love. This was about control. When the divorce petition was filed, everything accelerated. She got served fast. That speed rattled her. People who plan things in secret always panic when the other person becomes proactive, because they relied on your delay, your confusion, your hope. your softness. Her lawyer reached out to mine almost immediately to negotiate. She did not want court. She did not want that recording played. She did not want her own strategy exposed under oath. I met my attorney again. We reviewed documents, statements, spending patterns. We prepared. Not to destroy her. To protect me. The settlement meeting happened within days. Her lawyer came in polished and confident at first. The proposal was predictable. She wanted half of what remained. She wanted me to cover her debt. She framed it as fairness. My attorney shut that down quickly. Debt in her name is hers, he said, especially when the statements showed what it was used for. They argued, negotiated, tested boundaries, but every time they pushed, we had documentation. Bank statements, spending habits, proof of me covering us, proof of her using joint funds for things that did not benefit the household, proof of her trying to stage the story. Eventually, the mask slipped. The tone changed. Their demands softened. Because the truth is simple. People negotiate harder when they think you are uninformed. Once you show them you are not, they start asking for peace instead of victory. The final agreement was clean. No spousal support. No me paying her debt. A fair split of joint funds. Each person kept their vehicle. Lease penalties split. We walked away with what we came in with, and she walked away with the consequences she tried to avoid. When I left that office, I did not feel joy. I felt untethered. 5 years. Reduced 2 signatures. That night, she texted me one line. I hope you are happy now. I stared at it for a long time. Then I typed the only honest answer. I am not happy. But I am free. There is a difference. Then I blocked her. If you are still here, do not click away. The last part of this story is not about revenge. It is about what happens after freedom, when silence comes back, and you realize you have to rebuild yourself without the person you used to adjust your life around. The weeks after were strange, quiet in a way that made my ears ring. I moved into a small apartment near work. Nothing impressive, but it was mine. I bought furniture that had no memories attached to it. I slept without listening for the sound of someone else's mood shifting in the next room. Work became my anchor. I took extra shifts, showed up early, stayed focused. My supervisor noticed. He pulled me aside one afternoon and told me there might be a promotion coming. For the first time in a long time, my future felt like something I could build again. One day, I ran into Monica at a store. She looked different. Lighter, like she had cut off something toxic and could finally breathe. She congratulated me on the promotion rumors. I thanked her again for warning me, for doing what was right even though it cost her a friendship. She shrugged and said she realized my ex was not the person she thought she was. That line hit me, because it was the exact truth I was still processing. I did not lose the love of my life. I lost the illusion of someone I was trying to keep loving. Months later, a woman from work asked me to get coffee. Nothing dramatic. No games. No posturing. Just a simple invitation. We talked for hours without circling the past, without me feeling like I had to defend my worth, without her trying to rank me or measure me or reduce me.